Okay, today we're doing math pages 61, 62, 63, and 64. It is 4 pages, but I think it's going to be pretty easy. We're going to be getting to draw some pictures while we do these pages. So go ahead and be getting those out. Proverbs 8:33 says, "Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not." And today I'm giving you instruction, and listen to it and don't refuse it. This is going to only make you wiser and get you even better prepared for this world that you're going to step into. And we're going to go ahead and get started on page 61, class practice number 1. Our directions say, what fractional part of each is blue? So, and we're going to look up above, I guess, before we start class practice. Look up at the top, and we have our fraction here, 3/4. We need to remember that our numerator is the parts being used or being colored here, and our denominator is the possible parts divided into. What I mean by that is we make a fraction bar here. How many parts are there? That goes as your denominator. There's 2 parts. And how many of them are blue? Well, 1 out of the 2. Okay, so the next one, B. How many parts do we have? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So 4 goes on the bottom. How many out of the 4 are blue? 1 out of the 4. So 1/4. C. We have 1, 2, 3 parts. 3 is your denominator. How many are blue? 1 out of the 3. And D, we have 2 parts. 1 out of the 2 is blue. I always remembered when I had numerator and denominator, I remembered that the numerator was on top, but the denominator was D for downstairs. The denominator is downstairs. It's on the bottom, the D in denominator, downstairs. So hopefully you can remember that the bottom number is the denominator. Just like there's a D in downstairs, it's on the bottom. Okay, for number 2, it tells us to divide circle A into halves. We're going to do that first right away. Divide circle A into halves. So we're going to divide it in half. Take your pencil and just draw a line across it, and that'll make it half. Then it says circle B into thirds. So we're going to make circle B into 3 parts. We'll try to make them into 3 equal parts. Circle C into fourths. Okay, so we'll try to make circle C into fourths. And circle D into 6. So we're going to try to make it into 6 parts. Then it tells us to shade 1 section of each circle. Write the fraction for each shaded section. Circle the fraction that is greatest. Okay, so we're going to fill in 1 section for each one. Okay, well, I'll fill in this one here. You can either do the top or the bottom, but you need to fill it in with your pencil like I'm doing. I'll fill in 1 section here. I'm going to do this one. You can do either one of the 3, but just 1. Okay, I'll do this one. I'll do the bottom one here. You can do any one of these 4, but you need to fill in 1 of them. And then I'll fill in 1 of these right here. Okay, so you got to fill in 1 of each section. Then we need to write what the fraction is of what we filled out. Well, in A, we filled out 1 out of the 2. In B, we filled out 1 out of the 3 parts. C, we filled out 1 out of the 4 parts. And D, we filled out 1 out of the 6 parts. And the last thing it asked us to do was to circle the fraction that is greatest. Which one, if these were awesome pies and you loved it, or pizzas, or figure out what your favorite was, or a big cookie, which one would you want? Well, you'd want the one that was the greatest, and that is A. So we need to circle half. Half is the biggest fraction we have of all these fractions here. Okay, go ahead and look at number 7. It's on the bottom of the back side of this paper on page 62. Number 7. And it asks us to give the number necessary to make one whole for each drawing. So they went ahead and they did the first one for you. You need 2 parts to make a whole. What they're saying here is you have half, is what they're saying. How much would you need to make a whole? Well, you'd need 1 and 2. So 2 is what they put there. Well, if we had thirds, how many parts would you need to make a whole? 1, 2, 3. 3 is your answer. If you had fourths, how many parts would you need to make a whole? You'd need 1, 2, 3, 4. You need 4 parts. And then the last one, fifths, you need 5 parts. 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are easy answers. Okay, and then 8 right next to it, we're going to do that together right now. It says the word is 1/4. The number would look like 1/4. Okay, the next one, the word is 2/8. The fraction, the number would look like 2/8. Now they're switching it around and going the other way. Half, we need to write 1/2. Okay, the next one is 1/5, so we write 1/5. The next one is 3/7, so we need to write 3/7. Next one is 2/9. And the next one is 3/10. And then the last one, 4/5, that's 4/5. Okay, go ahead and look at the top of 63 now. It says to give the fraction for the colored portion. Well, there's 1 out of the 4 parts that is colored there. Okay. B, 5 out of the 8 parts are colored. C, half of it is colored. D, 3 out of the 6 parts are colored. Number 2, it tells us to write the missing fractions on the number line. And so it goes 0/8, and then it's 1/8. Then it's going to be 2/8. Then 3/8. 4/8. 5/8. 6/8. 7/8. Then 8/8 is the same as 1. Okay, here it says to draw illustrations for these statements. We have to draw pictures to answer these. First one says Dana has half a pizza left. So you need to draw a pizza and make it so half of it is still there. It doesn't matter if you draw it into 8s. That's what I've done here, and I'm showing that 4 of the pieces are left and half of it's gone. I'll put a couple little pepperonis on it. Try to make your pizza prettier than mine. B wants us to show that half of the glass is filled. Here's how I'm going to do my glass. Put a circle, that will be the top of the glass. And this will be the bottom of the glass. And to show half of it is filled. Oh, it went away. Here, I'm going to do it again. They're showing half of it is filled here. So, you make a much better drawing than me on that one too, please. And C says half of the marble is blue and half is red. I'm just going to do a circle and draw a line. And you'll have to get colors out to make it so half of it is red and half of it is blue. Put some blue water in my cup here. You could do the same when you get your blue out. Okay, now look at the bottom of 64. Bottom of 64 says to draw a circle and divide it into fourths. So I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. B says to draw a square and divide it into halves. Make my square here. I'll divide it into half by going like that. C is going to be a little tricky. It says to use your ruler and to draw a 1-inch line. So you'll have to make a line that's an inch with your ruler. And then you'll have to divide that line in half. So find where half of an inch is and you'll make a little line. It'll look something like that. But you got to use your rulers to make sure it's correctly done. Go ahead and do the rest on your own. I did one of them for you up here if you can find it on your page. You guys are the best kids ever.